Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another scene set in Chronicles of Darkness, a Vampire the Requiem, a Requiem for London. On this grey January night, we set the scene on Joshua Baneforth, aka the Ringmaster, the owner and ringmaster of the organization only known as the Cirque du Macabre, the grimmer, darker reflection of the Cirque du Soleil.
Posers.
The moonlit reflection.
Oh, we're not calling it the Midnight Circus, are we? That'd mean I'd have to go way more fucked up, and you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean, and we're not doing that. But you, Joshua, you have returned to your haven this evening after a successful hunt across Camden. It truly is a dense territory. There's no shortage of blood on the streets. Almost every corner you turn, you can hear heartbeats and people. So hunting for you has been relatively simple. What do you do initially upon returning?
After he has had a rather successful evening, Joshua goes, as I said, the circus and the circus troupe basically occupy a number of three up, three down houses in Camden along a long road. The houses themselves having been knocked together to form one very long common domicile. So he's going to go to his study, which is located on the second floor of the central house, and is going to go over correspondence, bills, and other things like that to actually, that involves the managing of his actual business.
Sure thing. Yeah, is your theater your haven, or is this separate?
We don't actually have a theater. What we do is we have an actual big top, but it's more of a permanent structure that's built in a park just across the road. That's also where we keep the habitats for the animals. So it serves as a kind of a small public zoo during the day, and we put on performances at night.
Okay. Yeah, you begin looking at your finances. It's been a slow month. January is always slow. It hasn't been a perfect quarter so far either, though, due to moving to London and still moving all your assets overseas. It's taking some time to set everything up. It's been a bit slower than we have wanted. It's progress is being made, but the process has been a bit more complicated than you would have preferred, and you're slightly unsure if kindred interests overseas are attempting to perhaps take a bite out of your assets as they depart for London. Given that when you were in the US, your circus was very much the talk of the town and prime feeding ground, and well, domains don't like to lose prime feeding grounds.
To be honest with you, Joshua doesn't really care about money. So if he's losing money, he's like, eh. As long as he can keep his head above water, money is not a prime motivator for him.
It's not an issue yet. Although it is perhaps something you want to start addressing fairly soon.
Okay.
You were very successful back in the US. You have you have a reserve, as it were, to fall back upon. It's just a matter of how long will that last until you need to start running shows in London. If nothing else, there is very much the appetite for it. People are just waiting.
So while he sits there, Joshua kind of turns to his computer and he puts up on his he puts up on his social media. And I'm just trying to think, what would be a good stunt for him to do? Because stunts are great for magicians to kind of hype up people to come to a show. So, what would be a great stunt for him to do?
You're the magician, not me.
I'm aware of this fact. He could do something really big, like David Copperfield once made the Hoover Dam disappear, in inverted commas. He could do something. Yeah, what he decides is he types in on his social media, because this would be quite cool if he could do it, and it would involve making a lot of arrangements and getting other PCs involved. So you know how Big Ben is currently not in operation?
Nope.
Is that a no as in you didn't know it, or a no as in no it's not?
No, it's not.
Okay. Joshua Bainforth puts onto his Twitter account, "Ladies and gentlemen, Madame de Monsieur, it's about time that we reminded the City of London exactly what the values of the City of London are. We have been torn apart recently." I take it that Brexit is canon in your setting.
It's
Oh, wait, no, it's 2010. Oh, shit, that means Big Ben is also working. Fuck you. There. I had a really interesting idea.
It can not be working for the purposes of whatever trick you want to do.
Okay. No, you know what? He's going to do something bigger, because this would be really cool. What is the name of the gigantic column that's outside of Buckingham Palace? Is it Victory Column or something? It's the big monument that's just outside Buckingham Palace.
One second, let me look it up real quick.
It has a fountain, I think.
I know what you're referring to. I'm just trying to... Victoria Memorial?
Yeah, the one that's
Victoria
just...
Memorial, yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's a giant fountain, isn't it?
Yeah.
He'll say, you know what, this is a bit... well, no, it's actually not sacrilegious for him, but it's going to be really funny. "Citizens of London, I invite you all for an evening of revelry. On the date, insert date here, under the onlooks of the royal family, should they wish to attend, I, Joshua Bainforth, will do something not quite as excellent as the second coming of Christ, but not far off, ... I will change the water flowing from that memorial into wine." For the public consumption of my friendly Londoners. All are welcome to attend. What do you think of that?
Legit.
Nice.
You post that on your social media, and the likes and retweets start coming in. A lot of them, quite a lot of them, in fact. Roll me your presence plus the expression plus whatever bonuses you get from specialties and fame to see just how many you're going to get.
There's a willpower being spent here. I think that everyone knew that was happening.
For a tweet.
I was going to say, does my spec in showmanship apply?
I would say yes here.
Excellent.
Plus one dice.
All right, so just give me a second. So that's presence is 43, expression is 3, 7, 10. Four successes.
Not quite an exceptional, but close. Yeah, the post, or the posts, as it were, start gaining traction pretty quickly. Within minutes, you're rolling in thousands of likes and retweets.
He seems to be satisfied with this as he kind of leans back in the chair like, yeah, you know what? This has been a good day. Good day.
As you post that and you mull over the much less interesting financial situation of your business, there is a ring of the doorbell. Fortunately, Isabella is out, performing questionable acts of both science and morality, and Farthingale is out terrifying the local populace.
It's fine. I occasionally I send him out with, one of those signs to be like, come to the circus. Everything is fine. It's a Cirque du Macabre, after all. The house has, staff and people, so I assume someone will open the door who is not me. Or do I have to literally go all the way downstairs to open the door?
Is your staff aware of your vampiric nature?
I would say so, yes.
Okay. Okay, then a member of your security. His name's Cole. One of your old guard, proper veteran. He's been working with you for years. One of your most reliable. More or less runs your security, kind of runs the security for your haven and for your events. He just, I assume you have an earpiece. He just contacts over the earpiece and he says, "Sir, we got one of the Archons at the door, and one unfamiliar face. I haven't seen them before."
Which Archon? The pretty one or the Uggo? He doesn't call him an Uggo. The pretty one or not?
There is a slight silence as he weighs up this person is pretty, and he says, "I can only imagine a pretty one, sir."
Okay, let them in.
He lets them in. As he goes to do so, he says, where would you have me put them?"
Put them in the downstairs lounge. I'll finish up here and be down in a moment.
Of course. You walk into the lounge downstairs, and in a large space, you see two kindred. And they are kindred. Your beast recognizes them as such. One of them, of course, you know by name and face, and Covenant. She seems quite glad to see you, in a somewhat muted way. The smile is slight, but it is there. It is quite respectful. And,
hello.
hmm.
My apologies, I wasn't expecting a company. Can I have either of you brought a drink, any refreshments, anything?
We came quite refreshed. It is all right, but thank you.
Yeah. You don't mind if he'll walk over and pour himself a mundane drink. What do I owe the pleasure? I do beg your pardon. Obviously, the Lady Archon I'm well familiar with, but who might you be, sir? He will say as he walks forward, extending his hand.
My name is Olungash. He speaks in has a faint German accent. It's not super pronounced, but it is there. I'm not gonna try it because I'm bad at it. I might try later.
Mr. Olengash, pleasure to meet you. Of what covenant do you belong, sir? Oh, Orlin, Mr. Orlin, or Mr. Vash.
Mr. Orlin. I am of the establishment.
That means the Lancea, or that means the which one is that? That means no, that's not the Lancea. That's the Invict. Go, continue. Ooh, should I roll a intelligence politics to identify him?
Yes. I'm actually just gonna double check. Well, actually, roll me your dice. If you succeed this, doesn't matter too much.
Two of the successes.
Okay. Yes, you have heard of him. He is a kindred that's been around for a while. I'm not quite sure how long. But you know they've got more years on them than most units. They're quite well respected in the city. Quite significantly so, in fact. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, they're quite significantly respected within the city. You've definitely heard his name before, but largely flying around in Invictus circles. You have heard rumors that he is one of several of the Invictus's notaries. The overseers of their contracts and oaths that they form among themselves and other kindred.
I see. Well, please, it's a pleasure to meet you. Please sit down. Make yourselves comfortable.
It is quite all right. We will stand. We actually came here to collect you.
Oh, what am I being collected for?
The sheriff has an offer for you, Joshua.
I see. He kind of gives the look of I am interested. I am also terrified. Well, I wouldn't want to keep such an august personage waiting. But by all means, I am. Am I dressed correctly? Should I change?
Your attire will not matter. However, your He looks you up and down. Your armaments, maybe. Does no matter. It can be provided at the site.
Wait, you require me to go armed to a meeting? I am at your humble service, I suppose.
Consider it less of... Consider this the meeting. What you will be arriving to will be more of an exam, if you will.
I see.
As the Archon says, the sheriff has seen you in action, and they are reasonably impressed with your skill set. However, they wish to observe further, perhaps more less physically inclined skills that may involve the plans the sheriff has for you.
Well, no time like the present. I am ready. Simply lead on, sir.
He looks to the Archon with a casual yet satisfied smile, and will simply say, "Good to. Always a pleasure to meet a man who understands their position. Right, come this way."
Follow.
Follows you out. There is a Land Rover just outside your building, which they'll take you to. It's got a couple of other individuals in it. Kind of hard to tell who they are. They're armored from top to bottom in riot gear.
Mm-hmm.
Sans shield.
Are any of them kindred, or are they all ordinary people?
Your beast has not registered them as kindred.
Mm-hmm.
So they could be humans, they could be ghouls, they could be something else, but likely human or ghouls. One is driving, the other simply sits in the back. Mr. Gersh opens the door for you to the back of the vehicle.
He will get in.
He will then see the Archonin, and he will step in himself. And you begin driving away from Camden. For a good Hmm. Probably 30 or 40 minutes. During this time, you can ask anything you want.
So, am I allowed to know the nature of this examination, or indeed what it is the sheriff has in mind for me as an individual, and why you, an honored notary, are here? I should assume that the agreement, should I fulfill his requirements, has the need of a binding oath.
Yes, you are quite right. At the conclusion of your assessment, if the sheriff finds you suitable for their plans, I have been informed that it will require an oath of a knighthood.
Do I have any context what the fuck that means?
Nope. You have no idea what Invictus oaths are, other than that they're binding agreements which are implied to have a less than natural effect, but it's not really clear what they do.
I see. Do forgive a simple god botherer. What's an oath of knighthood?
An oath of knighthood, also known as the oath of a true knight, and binds you into the unconquered. He pauses. As a knight, you become bound to none other than your charge and the duties set before you in the oath, and would be obligated to maintain neutrality in all your affairs past that point. However, such an agreement empowers you to maintain said duty and neutrality, and to take action in defense of the sect you are in service to, both the one you claim membership of and the one that you would work for on behalf of the city. In this case, that would be us, the unconquered.
Because no, we're the sanctified, they're the unconquered. That's that's the little epithet, isn't it? I see. Fascinating. I will have no doubt that I will have more questions, but I am ready to take whatever examination that has been laid before me. Then we can discuss particulars.
Yes, the matter of the oath has some complications. It is what I've given you is an extremely brief overview of what it does. Often, well, it is rare for the Oath of the Knight to be granted to those outside of the Unconquered. It is a very rare privilege. In fact, many consider it to be very much unenforceable without membership within the Unconquered. However, recent developments and discoveries have contradicted this very long-standing claim.
Fascinating.
In many ways, your oath as a knight, much like Archon Thane's, serves as a bridge of good faith between our two sects. The power of the oath would often be dependent upon one's standing within the unconquered. However, in your case, it would be dependent upon your standing within the sanctified.
Well, we shall not talk about chickens before they've hatched. For all we know, I'll fail the test and be sent home with a pat on the head and a toque bag.
It is quite all right. If you fail in the assessment, this conversation will be a moot point.
And it was in that moment Josh was like, "Oh shit, they're going to kill me." Well, I will just do my best not to fail then. By the way, he will actually ask this. You said that this was to do with the less physical elements of. Essentially, I have proven myself for the purposes of physicality. You said it was to do with other elements of a particular possibility or opportunity. Yes?
Yes.
Well then, this should be an interesting evening. And with that, he'll just sit back and wait until we reach our destination. He'll probably pray some. Mm-hmm.
You're taken quite far outside of the boundaries of London. You wind up somewhere in somewhere south of Worley, which is an area just south. It's basically a town or a village just outside of just outside of Brentwood, east of London. Yeah, strictly the east side, or ever so slightly to the north. Very rural. Lots of trees. The car ends up going off road. Fairly deep into the the wood, actually. Until the car eventually comes to a stop. You see Orlan seems to be communicating with somebody over his phone, but he does keep the phone fairly close to his chest. Like, he doesn't let anybody see what it is that he's typing back and forth. Saturn, for her part, will just go to you. There is no need for concern. I was granted a similar test once.
Excellent. Well then.
It is more of an opportunity than anything else. And view it like that.
I look forward to the experience.
It will be... You will have some hard choices.
As long as you inform me that I don't have to hunt a lupine through these forests with nothing but a buck knife and my wits, I'm pretty happy with that choice. Mm-hmm.
There is a slight pause as Saturn looks to Orlan, and Orlan just goes, "Oh, do not worry. They have yet to claim this place."
Excellent.
You would be surprised how many exist within the domain of London.
You know, you say that. I could tell you about a time in Edinburgh, but we're not going to get sidetracked.
Right. But I believe we are here. Looking outside, you basically just see nothing but wood. There is no real there's no defining landmarks to this place, other than the trees. It's just a forest.
Joshua hops out of the car. You know, there's the sound of the crunching leaves under his boots.
Orlan and Saturn. Well, Saturn will get out. Orlan does not. She will say, "I believe this is where we are to part ways for the moment."
Right. Do you have a direction to point me in?
I don't believe I'd be of much help. She looks around, slightly disconcerted. Do you want me to make a quick wits empathy check?
Sure. Those are dice I believe I actually have numbers in. Let me actually check his sheet.
She's not hiding anything from you, so there is no dice penalty or any some such thing.
And where's empathy? Behold his mighty. He does have a dice pool for it, but behold his mighty dice pool. Ha! Nope. I'm not going to turn that into a dramatic failure, though it would amuse me. No, he can't read her.
Okay. Sorry, you're taking dramatic failure?
No, I'm not. No.
Ah, shame. She looks around. I would offer you more poignant words of advice and encouragement, but this is why I'm an inquisitor and not a preacher. I've never been good at these things.
I get you. Look,
but I hope you'll join me soon.
He smiles, and what he does is because obviously he was in the car, so he didn't have it. He holds out his phone and he just says, "Would you please take that, just in case? I wouldn't want it to get broken."
She'll take your phone from you.
On his phone, he has written his "should I not make it back" message in a text because he didn't send it. He just kept it on the phone. This is what I would like done with my estate. You know.
She'll nod at you and slip it into a jacket.
Josh was a pragmatist. But yeah, with that, he just turns from the car and he will start to walk through the trees because apparently, by God, that's what we're doing today. Vampires in this game have much better night sight than they do in Masquerade, don't they?
Yes, you can see very clearly in the dark. You can see as if it were daylight for you. You can see in the dark as if it were daylight. You suffer no penalties to seeing in the dark whatsoever. The only time Kindred suffer penalties to darkness is when it is pure pitch blackness, zero light.
So the light of the moon and stars is sufficient.
Yes. If you were outside in the middle of the night, you would have no problem looking around as if the sun were out in the sky.
Cool. Yeah. So he's gonna get walking.
You begin to walk in in and around the forest. First, make me a quick wit survival roll to keep your orientation.
I do not believe these are dice he has.
Survival is a... One second, what actually is survival? I believe it is a...
It's a -1.
Yes, -1. It is not -3.
Nope.
Okay. After a few minutes, the fact that you can see well helps, but eventually it becomes apparent that you really don't know where you are, and the forest is quite expansive. And you're not entirely sure what you're looking for. It takes you quite a long time. Well over an hour. Until you begin to catch the scent of blood in the air. It is a fairly faint smell, but it is there.
Following the nose.
It doesn't smell particularly pleasant either.
Let's follow the nose.
Whatever the smell of it is, it's certainly not particularly certainly not a particularly succulent meal.
Still, he thinks this is part of the test, so he will follow the smell of blood.
As you begin to approach, you follow the scent. Half buried underneath dirt, sheddings of bark and leaves. You just kind of flick it to the side and you see that it is in fact a dead bird. Throat torn out. Largely exsanguinated. You don't really need medical knowledge to know the marks of a kindred when you see one. Particularly given your many decades of kindred life. Looks to be like a dead magpie.
Can I roll Wit's investigation to maybe try to find if there's a blood trail or blood splattering?
Yes. Roll me Wits plus investigation plus your blood potency because it's a kindred sense roll.
Okay. I just need to find. I know he actually has quite good investigation. He does. So that's that. So that's okay. And I'm going to spend the second willpower of the night in order to basically, because I feel like I've lost time, so I think that this might be timed. So it's going to be 5.
It does occur to you that you're in the middle of the forest, and there is the matter of the morning sun to deal with if you take too long.
Oof, exceptional success.
Oh, wow. What was that? What's plus investigation?
Wits plus investigation plus will potency plus willpower.
Ah. Yeah, with an exceptional success, catch the scent immediately. This scent is the scent you were following initially is quite old. There wasn't much of it left. It was a few days old. You think that's perhaps why it took you so long to find any real scent at all. But you quickly catch another scent. It's faint. It's probably further away. You actually catch several scents, but you catch the one that is most fresh. It is the one that sticks out to your beast. This is a recent kill, it thinks to itself. And you can begin heading off in that direction. You sense life around you. Faint, the heartbeats and breathing is quicker paced. Local wildlife and vermin. You can even sense some of it above you. You see an owl looking at you, but when you look back at it, it flies away.
No, owl friend. I've been abandoned. But yes, he will race now. He actually, you know what? I'm going to make a Dex stealth roll, if that's all right, to stealth run.
Okay, it's a few hundred meters away, so it's a bit of a trek. You'd probably be able to just run for most of it, without really getting spotted. At least the location. So it depends. Are you going to stealth for sort of like the last few dozen,
Yes.
the last 100 or so meters, or?
Yeah. He'll stealth the last 100 or so meters. Any penalty?
This isn't this. Yeah, you are kind of running across like foliage, which isn't optimal. So I'd probably, but it's not the worst. It would only be -1 dice. It's very doable.
Oof. 3 successes.
Okay. Yeah, you are quite quiet. You make a little bit of noise, but fairly indistinguishable from the other wildlife that is around you. And perhaps what informs you that you're on the right track is that you notice that most of the life around you seems to be they all seem to not be heading in the direction that you're going in. It's noteworthy that it's not that they're necessarily running away from this location, but every now and again where you think a vole might run across the foliage.
You just love voles, don't you?
They populate the forests. A vole or a bird, maybe even a fox. They might run in separate directions, but they're always heading away from your location, away from where you're heading.
Cool.
But it doesn't take you long, particularly if you're apt kindred senses, to spot a person leaving the site quite quickly. They're quite far away. They've made some significant ground from you. They seem to leave the site where the scent ends.
The chase, as they say, is on.
It's the person, you can't really see them that well. They appear to be quite pale, have short brown hair. It appear to be wearing a coat and kind of thick baggy trousers. Kind of like they're designed for a place such as this. Designed to get down and dirty. The beast does recognize them as kindred, and they begin hastily walking away as birds fly off the tree branches as they approach. As they kind of walk past a nearby tree, you notice birds fly away from it. The birds react quite violently, in fact. It's largely just a couple of owls. But both being barn owls, they screech quite unceremoniously and dart off.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't see you.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to keep following. Sneak, 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 sneak.
They seem to mark the tree with a knife. And then they begin to carry on.
What does the mark look like? Just a cut?
It appears to be a cross. Just a clean, even cross. But there are slashes on two of the lines. On the left line, on the left horizontal line, and the downwards line, the southern line.
That's not the Orthodox cross, is it?
No, it's just it's basically if you made a cross that you could then connect the dots to make a square, like the distance.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does that mean anything, or that I would know of a?
You wanna roll me? Wits investigation or wits survival, whichever yours your highest pool.
Yeah.
They appear to move on and appear to be doing the same with other trees.
I have a success on investigation.
You think they're ruling out directions they've been in?
See, I think that this is meant to be a hunt, and I think that that's meant to be my quarry. So, I'm going to try and get closer to him, and then can potence make you jump further, or vigor make you jump further?
Yes. I'm hassling it a little bit because I actually think it's ever so slightly underwhelming, or rather it requires a dice roll, and that's just not as interesting. So normally, a persistent
we worked out yesterday, by the way, that Terry, aka Guabashek, can jump 400 meters either vertically or horizontally.
Nice.
Sorry, that's to confuse the crap out of it. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, normally one of the persistent effects of vigor is that you can make a strength plus athletics roll to jump, and then the yards or meters jumped are equal to your successes times your vigor dots plus 1. In this case, I'm just making your strength and athletics times your vigor dots plus 1. You need not roll. You would only need to roll if you are under stress or you are under particularly uneven, on uneven ground terrain.
So what he's
you're on grounded terrain. You can easily make a significant jump.
So basically, Bishop, what I'd like to do is because I think I can do this. As he's marking his next tree, right? I would like to, yeah. As he's marking his next tree, so when he comes to a stop, I'd like to get as close to him as I can. So, relatively close, with my stealth. Or would you like me to roll stealth again?
No, you succeeded on your stealth roll. He does not see you coming.
Cool. In that case, what I'd like to do is get behind him when he's doing his next tree, and spend a blood into my potence, jump, and basically just tap him on the back with like my hand, just to kind of show got you, like tag nearly, if you get me. Bear in mind, I could have read this entire thing entirely wrong, and he'll try and murder me. That's fine.
So you make a very large leap. What's your vigor?
Only one.
Okay, so you can jump twice the general distance of the average human, at least. Yeah, you sneak up to him and then you make a jump from like 10 plus meters away. Probably got the math entirely wrong, doesn't matter. And you land right next to him as you just quite strongly tap his shoulder as he leaps off his feet, spinning and briefly terrified. He goes, who the fuck are you?
I'm sorry, I thought I was here to... I was going to ask you for directions. What way is it to the bibliotech?
Fuck, he backs up against the tree. Look, I don't know who you are.
See, I've got a little suspicion here. Hi, for the record, my name is Joshua. It's nice to meet you. He's going to extend his hand.
He doesn't actually. He kind of considers it, and then he holds up his hands and he says, "Look, whatever the fuck this says, I haven't done anything."
What's your name? Look, I'm going to try and... You and I are going to have a civilized discourse. I'd rather it be civilized, so let's be civilized. Okay. What's your name?
My name is Jerome. Can you just make me a quick wits plus composure check?
Sure. Any minuses or?
Not really, no.
This will be my third willpower of the evening.
Ooh, okay.
2 of the successes.
Okay. You're not quite sure what it is, but something about this guy is really weeding you out. In particular, your beast. Something like both. It's strange. It's something creeps you out about this guy. You're not sure what it is.
Intelligence occult roll?
Yeah, you can make a standard check. You'll get a range of possibilities because it could be one of many different things.
Two of the successes.
You know of sorcery deck you can do this. You know of disciplines. It could be a total lack of humanity. He does look quite pale and looks ever so slightly corpse-like. He's not super far gone, but he's clearly suffered some loss in his time. Perhaps ever so slightly more than yourself. Other than that, it
Look,
could be a lot of different things. Could be disciplines, could be sorcery, could be something to do with his beast. He could just be particularly thick-blooded, or his beast particularly bent towards savagery. You've seen that before, where a beast is imbalanced, and it can cause it to either come across as too dominant or too cruel or too alluring. It could be that. But there's a lot of possibilities. It's a bit difficult to tell precisely what it is, just because right now this sensation is all you have to go off.
all right. Look, what covenant are you? And clan?
Oh, I'm a gangrel. I don't really have a covenant. Who you said you're Joshua, right?
Joshua Baneforth. Nice to meet you.
Where do you come from? It's not. Nobody can really come here.
Why not?
Gives you a brief look, like that look of, like, kind of mild confusion. Did you get imprisoned here too?
I beg your pardon?
He asks you if you're like, did you get thrown in here too? Did you?
Let me guess, friend. Were you asked here to perform a service or a task, and you've never managed to find your way out?
No.
Cool.
I kind of ended up wandering into this place, and I certainly have never been able to find my way out. I haven't seen anything resembling a person in fucking months. You're the first person I've seen in I don't even know how long. Time just kind of. I'm not even sure if it passes here. I swear I've followed every single. I've marked every fucking tree in this forest. I swear to God, and there is. I can't find my way out. It's. I've tried climbing. I've tried looking over the forest. I've tried digging. I've tried almost everything. I've tried asking the animals, and it's just
All right. Shh.
bullshit. You just
Calm down. Bishop, have I ever heard in the occult circles of things like this, areas like this? Because you could do this with magic.
Yeah, roll me intelligence plus occult. It's going to be yeah, minus 3 dice.
Okay, here comes the fourth willpower of the night. I'm keeping track. I have 2 left. I will spend all my willpower in the night if I have to. Two of the successes.
Okay. You're right, this could probably be performed as sorcery. Such a bizarre effect upon a place, though, it would be very, 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 very advanced. It would be difficult to do. You're not aware of any Theban sorcery, Theban magics that could do it. This seems more to the realm of Kuruk, but you have heard of a very old Nosferatu maquette who can do things like this, who can trap people in places so that they can never leave.
So, Sheriff, I see your game, he says as he turns around to the forest. I also am pretty sure that you're watching me right now. So, I'm wondering if the game is to identify the fact this is a game, or to try and break out of the trap. Because the simple fact of the matter is that both are different goals. Both require a different set of skills. I've identified your trap, or rather your test. I thought it was to hunt this poor unfortunate sod, no offense. But now I have to question. So, I'm going to wait and see if you decide to provide an answer.
Oh, wait. You're with the fucking sheriff?
No, technically you're with the sheriff. We're all with the sheriff. This is the sheriff's place. You just happen to bumblefuck your way into it.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, shit.
Do you want to get out of here?
Yes, I'd very much like to get out of this. This. Whatever the fuck this is.
All right, then shut up. So, the ball's in your court, Sheriff. Am I getting out of here? Is this the test to identify the test? Because you know that you're powerful. You know that the chances of this, myself or this poor unfortunate soul getting out is slim to none. So, let's see what you do. And he waits to see if there's an answer from the universe.
There is no answer from the universe.
Okay.
God has failed you tonight. Jerome just goes, look, wait, I think you're as fucked as me. Like, people don't leave this place. Like, the only other person who ever came here ashed upon the sun rising, and I can only avoid it because I'm a gangrel, so I can do the whole melt into earth thing, right? I've been eating animals for the past fucking half year, and I'm losing my fucking mind. I'm trying to get the fuck out of this fucking hellhole.
He very calmly just claps him over the back of the head. I told you to shut up.
I'm just trying to give you some perspective, like this. Joshua.
Yes.
You know that. Getting out of a place like this It's not possible unless whoever created it would want you to. They can create exits and entrances. They can make them one-way, two-way. They can create as many as they like. You also know that they don't necessarily exist in a literal sense. Like finding the logical path out of this place will not work, as this person has, as Jerome has quite clearly exemplified through his panic and his failed attempts to do so. But the way you could equate it in your head is it's more like it's more like a magic trick than anything else. There may be a way out, but it would not be immediately perceptible to you, and is likely not what not what you would expect it to be. It would not be literal. You could not just dig beneath the earth and try to make it out that way. You couldn't just look into the sky and try and navigate your way out. It would be perhaps opening a door that's not there, or tapping in a series of motions on a tree in a specific fashion.
You know what? Let's go with pure fairy tale logic, because Joshua's whimsical as fuck like that.
Yeah,
He
like
grabs.
I was just going to say, another way to approach this would be as if you are given 3 doors and all doors lead back to the same room over and over and over again, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. I think I know what it is you want. It's an interesting show of power. It really is. You'll have my oath later to what it is I assume you desire. Now, this poor unfortunate chuckle fuck, no offense, he and I are going to start walking. We're going to walk. I have no idea. Hell, I'll even walk with my eyes closed, because why the fuck not? But I've identified your trap. I know that you hold all the cards. I've seen your power, but not only that, I know your power. I know you're the only way we get out of this. You've humbled me. And the fact of the matter is that, yes, I can actually be of use to you. So, tell you what, I'm going to start walking with my eyes closed. If I'm of use to you, if you think I've got value, sure, let me out. You're the only one who can. If not, I'll just sit here and wait for the sun, because I frankly don't want to live in a world where I'm not useful. And what Joshua does is he grabs the guy by the collar, like you. He doesn't hurt him. He's just like, you're walking with me. He closes his eyes and he's just going to start walking in a random direction.
You begin walking. How long do you walk for?
I don't stop. He'll either meet the sun or something will happen.
Okay. After merely a few minutes, Jerome begins pulling back on you and says, mate, stop.
All right, stopping.
Like, you just... He points to the ground. You can see that you've just been walking in circles for the past 2 minutes. Oh, fuck. I mean, it was a nice try. I didn't actually think to do that. How did I not think to do that for fucking months? Shit. Ah, fuck. We gotta find a way out of here.
The only way out is if we're let out.
I mean, there's got to be a way for one of us to get out, right?
Yeah. And I know what it is. Hey, Bishop, Joshua's clocked it. I know the reason that didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Because I took Jerome with me. And Joshua says, all right, I'm curious. What did you do? What's wrong with you? Because there is something wrong with you.
I mean, I've been... I've been... It's difficult to explain. I've been... I'm going fucking mad, man. Like, I've been here for fucking half a year. I've only had animal blood, and it's killing me on the inside. Like, I need to get out of here and have something real.
More than that, there's something wrong with your beast. It doesn't feel right.
I mean, I don't know much about my beast. You can roll me with sympathy if you like.
Ah, yes. My mighty pool.
You can roll... his manipulation is 2, so it's minus 2 dice.
Ah, yes. My mighty pool. Nope.
Oh dear. Ooh, this dice called rubbing it in. Yeah, you can't really tell if he's being earnest, whether he knows something or not, or whether he is generally just clueless.
Look. All right. You're actually suffering? Cool. Not cool, but you know what I mean. So, as I said, the only way out of here is if you ask to be let out of here. Think of it like an oubliette. This is a place of forgetting. It's a realm. His eyes narrow. Unless you're the Senate, unless you're the sheriff.
I really wish I was, and I don't think I'd be here if I was.
I mean, think about it though. From my perspective, I have been sent in here on a test, and it seems to me like you're the perfect fodder for the test. I can decide to leave you to your fate because, well, you'll die here one way or the other. Either you'll find a way out, you'll beg for your own life, and he'll let you out, or you'll get so tired of this existence, you'll walk out to meet the sun. I consider myself to be a good man, believe it or not. So I'm morally torn between the concept of perhaps I can leave and leave you. So you can tell me honestly what's wrong with you. Or I can just, once again, walk away. I think if I do it by myself, it'll work. Or I can fight your corner. Believe it or not, I'm kind of the champion of lost causes in London at the moment.
I mean, man, like... You can try, but I mean... it's not... It's like... It's like a thing in your head, you know? You can't... we can, like, I fucking dug 30 feet beneath the earth and just.
It doesn't. You don't understand. This isn't real. This is in your head. You can't dig out from your head. People, those of us, standard people, could be 5-10 feet over there. They wouldn't see or hear us, and the world loops because we perceive the world looping. That's how this works.
But then, how does you closing your eyes work then? Like, if that's
Because
how it works.
Because we only get out of here if he lets us out. The closing my eyes was just me being dramatic. But the fact of the matter is that we only get out of here if he lets us out.
Fuck.
So you can tell me why you're here, what's wrong with you, because I can see there's something wrong and I can try and help you, or I can fuck off and leave you here. So it's decision time, kids. Here on Uncle Joshua's variety show, you have the choice. You have the microphone. What the fuck is up?
Okay. Roll me manipulation plus intimidation. Your status won't apply here because he hasn't heard of you. He's been here for half a year. Yeah, just roll me your manipulation plus intimidation. But you don't get your normal regular bonuses because it literally wouldn't have been possible for him to have known you.
Fifth willpower of the night. I have 1 willpower left. What happens if you drop to 0 willpower?
That's a good question. Let me check. I think it might just be out of willpower for the time being.
I do succeed.
Okay, is that your other willpower?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me...
So I had 2 willpower left. I'm now sitting at 1.
Yeah, I don't think.
Like, do we fall into a slumping, useless blob-like state?
I don't think so. You just feel a bit mentally exhausted. There are things much more damning and mentally destructive than simply burning through your willpower.
I do succeed on the check anyway, just to keep this rolling.
Okay. You kind of hard bluff him because obviously he can actually sleep beneath the earth, and you can't. He says, "Okay. Look, I just want to get out of here. Okay, I haven't seen anyone in half a fucking year. Don't go. Like, if you've been sent here, then." Maybe that's why. Maybe it's my shot. As well as yours.
Then, as I said, what's wrong with you?
So, look, a while ago I fucked up really badly. I didn't mean to do it. I was.
What did you do?
I killed a kindred. I lost control, frenzied. I was hungry.
What Joshua does is he'll spend a blood for potence to do this. He puts his hands on the guy's shoulder and he kicks his legs out, so he basically falls down onto his knees. You get me? And he presses his head into the dirt, like with the palm of his hand. He just says, "Yeah, no, you're not saying this to me. You're saying this to the person listening."
That's basically his response.
Did you hear me there? Because I think my internet just went a bit weird for a second.
Yeah, he said you're not telling this to me, you're telling this to the person listening.
Yes.
No, don't you have a muffled scream as a response because you kind of grind their face against the dirt.
He lets him up just so far as he's able to, speak, and he will say, "You beg forgiveness. You say that no matter what happens, you make it right. You offer anything you can offer, and maybe you get out."
But
Okay?
they already know. They already know. They're the people who put me here.
Shut the fuck up and do what I tell you. You say you will do anything to make it right. You also add that you'll swear an oath that you'll do anything to make it right. You know what? You don't want to be here. Somebody is listening right now who can get you out of this. It's time to pay the fucking piper.
As you say that, something does occur to you. Make me a... Yeah, this will definitely be wits investigation roll.
Oh god, I hate this. I swear to God, this is going to be about the owls. It's all been the owls.
No. This is kind of a summary of a couple of things which have been revealed to your character at this point.
I have a success.
Okay. Well, first of all, he blatantly lied to you. About just wandering into this place. And he hasn't even mentioned what's wrong with his with his beast or with him in general. You do know that whatever he said was complete nonsense about feeding on animals. Driving him going stir crazy makes sense, but it would have no real impact on his beast. If he can drain animals, then he can drain animals. They might not taste that good, but he can do it. It doesn't alter his beast in a particular sense. The beast is satiated regardless. The beast only cares about satiating itself. And he said they already know all of this. Like, you would assume that to be the law enforcement. You would assume that to be the sheriff or those of his office. And you know that there's not explicitly a tradition against killing kindred. It does happen. It's not super common. Most princes have edicts against it, including this one, but such individuals would either just be killed or reprimanded. Intersect rivalries happen all the time. The Sanctified and the Crone are chomping at the bit to have a piece of each other. There's even a bit of a cold war right now between the Crone and the Sanctified. Kindred deaths happen. They're not super common, but they happen. And if he's been here for 6 months, then he wasn't placed here just for you. There must be a reason he's been given a punishment so severe that goes beyond the simple death of a kindred. It must either be a kindred of importance or something they did to the kindred that was particularly egregious.
So, you didn't just kill him, did you? You drank his soul.
There is a stark silence.
Because there is a tradition against that.
Yeah, there is a tradition against against Abery. He goes, Look, as I said, I was in frenzy. I didn't mean to do anything. It was a huge accident. Like, I regret every second of it.
I can't be your confessor, kid. The simple fact of the matter is, you done fucked up. So, how do we make it right? What are you willing to pay to make it right?
I'll pay anything to get the fuck out of here.
No. What are you willing to pay to make it right?
I mean, whatever it takes. I just want out. This place is fucking madness. Like, I'm like, you're the first real person I've seen here in months. I'm fucking, like, this place, it does things to you. You hear things, you see people that aren't there. I don't just want to. I don't care if it's getting out of here or making it right or whatever the fuck. I don't. I just want to get the fuck out of here, dude.
Joshua turns and starts to walk away. His response is, "No, unfortunately, that's the wrong answer. You want your freedom. You don't want to make right what you've done. So here is where you're going to stay."
Oh, come on, man. Don't do me like that. Don't fucking do me dirty like that.
He looks up and he just says, "I'm ready to leave now."
You notice this place is still turning on itself, which means you're not done here yet.
If you want me to kill him, give me the tools to do so. As noted, I came unarmed.
When you take your next foot forward, you hear it clink against metal.
Joshua nods his head and he just says, "All right." Before he reaches down and he picks up whatever clinked against his foot.
It's a sword.
Is it the same sword I used to execute those other guys? Because this is becoming a trend.
Yes. There's something different about this one, though, but you can't quite put your finger on it. It has a strange aura about it. Oh, no. Fuck this. He gets up, he has his hands held out, he's backing away. Fuck this shit. 6 months on fucking death row? Fuck this, you fucking psychos.
Bishop, I'm going to spend a blood into my celerity to move very quickly towards him.
Oh, fuck this. When you move right up to him. As he does so. Fuck this. Fuck all of you. Fuck! And very, very like this strange. It kind of bursts from his skin. It like covers his entire arm becomes encompassed in his bone.
Ugh.
The flesh literally explodes.
We're talking Akira style.
Kind of, yeah. It explodes from his skin, but the flesh doesn't blow off. It doesn't hit the floor. Rather, it sort of explodes, but makes way for it. It sort of just hangs there, and it's just one massive, weighty blade that makes up the entirety of both his arms.
What the fuck is that?
Some bizarre manifestation of his beast. You haven't seen this before. But I'm going to make combat a bit more free-flowing. So feel free to just attack first. If you use celerity, you have to jump on him. He didn't really expect you to just move straight up to him.
All right. What is this mofo's defense?
He's a defense of. He has a defense of 3.
All right. I will spend a blood to hit better. Home. 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 Yes, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, of course.
You don't hit him. Just barely miss him.
Oh, actually, I should ask. Does the sword have an equipment bonus? It's not my sword.
1 second, actually. I believe it does, actually. Yeah, it's a properly forged weapon. It is +2.
Okay, let me roll the. I do hit him.
Okay, let me just double check weapon shots.
Because this is one of those big two-handed sword dealies from what I remember, because I used it to cut off heads.
Yeah. It's yeah, it's not really a rapier or a machete. It's a bit more higher quality than both of those. So it's a +3 damage weapon. Actually, no, it would be +2. Swords aren't quite that good because of how health works, but it's +2 damage. Yeah, you hit him. When you cut him, something odd occurs as you hit him with preternatural strength and speed. Like, you hit him very quickly and very strongly. You tear through his skin, but it's a very clean cut. You don't have to push. You do not have to like pull. You don't have to really use any like real heft to force your way through his body. It's almost like it cleanly cuts through his skin and bone, dealing 3 lethal damage to him.
Oof, that's a biggie.
He cries out. But it doesn't stop him. He's actually surprisingly unfazed by the strength of the attack. He kind of lets out like a kind of grunt, almost. As he's going to take a swipe at you now.
Hit me with your rhythm stick. No, I actually have to go to the bathroom. I have a defense of 2, so I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Only 2?
Yes.
You only have a defense of 2. Your celerity adds to your defense.
Oh, a defense of 3.
Yeah.
I'm bad at this.
Let's see. Three plus. Yeah.
I'm back. How much did he fuck me up?
Oh, wow, he got 5 successes.
Oh, of course he did.
He got a 10, which rolled over onto an 8.
Oh,
He got a 9, a 6, another 10, which rolled over onto a 9.
I hate life.
You can spend for celerity to interrupt the attack. You could attempt to parry it, which will reduce the amount of damage you take. How many health levels do you have?
I have 8.
Okay, this attack won't immediately kill you, but it will almost do that. So I presume you'd probably want to spend the celerity just to get some successes to offset the damage.
I take it that his gigantic claw is also doing quote-unquote true lethal damage to me.
Yes, it's doing lethal damage to you, and it's an armor-piercing weapon.
Yeah. In that
Your
case, yes.
Your armor would not actually apply here because I know your armor is strong enough to resist the armor.
See, if I'd known there'd been combat, I would have done like rituals and such to make myself actually good at this. It's fine. Yeah, I'll spend and I'll do the celerity action, which means I roll my melee I roll my melee attack against him, and it reduces it by successes.
Yes.
So that's 1, 2.
So you just roll. Yeah, you roll strength plus weaponry. Keep in mind your vigor applies to any strength check passively.
Oh. I guess I should have rolled 1 more dice in the last roll. That's fine.
That's fine. Actually, I'll just roll it for you in the dice cord and just apply.
Oh, good. Maybe you'll get like an exploding bejesus.
Oh yeah, you do actually get. So you do 3 lethal damage to him and a single ag.
Oof. Why do I do a single ag?
That's a good question. So you cut cleanly through his body, but you notice it burns from him, like cauterizes him.
Look at that roll.
What the fuck was that?
That was my melee. That's so sad, isn't it? Yeah, because it was forced. It was 2 and 2 plus the weapon bonus plus vigor. So yeah, that is so sad, isn't it?
Wow. What is happening to your dice luck? What the fuck?
Requiem hates me, man.
Okay. But it is your turn again. He rips through you, shreds your armor instantaneously. It's now completely useless. He literally, like the bone on his arm just rips through it as if it weren't even there, and just tears open your flesh completely. This is clearly an unnatural weapon. The damage it does to you is egregious. You take 7 lethal damage.
Oof. That is a big oof. That's an oopsie daisies. All right. You know what?
If this is how I die, I go down like a boss. I'm going to does spending a willpower, my last willpower, also mean that I ignore wound penalties?
It gives you plus, so your wound penalties can only ever hit -3. You're currently at -2,
Okay.
so you'll get +1 dice basically. But keep
All
in
right.
mind you get +2 dice to the roll because it's a properly forged weapon and your vigor.
Okay, in that case, so that would be, hang on, that'd be 4, +3 is 7, +8. Sorry, +1 is 8, +3 is. Sorry, yeah, I'm going to spend the blood for +2, which will bring the total to 11. And then the willpower would be rolling 12. Okay, I'm going to try and basically, I have to kill him in one hit, or he is going to kill me. That's how life works, kids. Boom, shakalaka laka. Oof. I do get him with 5 successes.
You cut into him. This time, use the full force of your vigor and your will. There isn't any subtlety in your strike. There's hardly even any skill to it. You just, in your last moment, it's on sheer instinct. As you're knocked to the ground, you just ram it through his chest as hard as you can. So much so that the hilt of the blade and your fists just go straight through his chest. You can feel the hilt of the blade just cut through and pulverize his lung. And you can feel the splintering bones of his rib cage digging into your fingers and your hands. But when you do so, he is completely stunned. And when you rip out the blade, you leave a gaping hole in his chest as he falls to the floor, reduced to torpor.
Inanium Setius Nunque Vexius Paci. May God have mercy on your soul. Because I assure you I won't.
His body begins to flake. It begins to decay. It begins to putrefy. It does not quite ash, but the flesh does slough off. It does rot. And will quickly become a feast for the forest. And as this happens...
Sorry, I'm just going to say, hey, Bishop, so I am going to collect a portion of his ashes. Because you know who likes weird science? The Ordo Dracul like weird science.
He is not ashes. He is not old enough to be reduced to ash. That would require at least a few decades on him.
In that case, I'll take off a finger.
You can do that. It begins to be rotting at an accelerated rate.
He'll put it into a cellophane baggie. When you're an occultist, it always helps to have cellophane baggies.
It's an interesting process to watch. Or rather, it would be if you weren't clutching at the hole in your own chest. You can see your rib cage. That's how severe these wounds are. Any human would be dead. For any human to look upon you would be a masquerade breach. But when When as you clutch your chest, you can hear the opening of a door. Um, the space in front of you opens as if it were actually just a door. And two familiar faces will enter.
Yeah, there's very little composure at this point. Joshua kind of sinks down to his knees, like he is effed the fuck up. He has no willpower left, so he just kind of sticks the sword into the ground and just kind of sinks down onto his knees, like, huh.
You are barely off the power to stand currently.
Yep. He's leaning on the sword, so he has some form of dignity, so he doesn't fall face first onto the ground. Do I need to make some kind of humanity check for killing him?
You'd be more likely to suffer a humanity check for the damage you have suffered.
Oh, is that a check?
To suffer wounds that would kill a human is a check. What you have suffered is so unbelievably unnatural to you that yes, it would. It's a fairly high check. It's humanity 6.
You tell me what I need to roll.
Let me find humanity real quick.
I have humanity 6 at this moment in time, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, this counts as immense physical trauma. I'll say you only have to roll this once, because once you have become accustomed to it, but are able to retain your humanity in the face of it, it becomes less of a trial. You roll 3 dice, plus any touchstone bonuses you have. I believe you only have 1 touchstone, right?
Hang on just 1 second, Bishop. You've kind of gone robot-y, so I'm just going to migrate to a place with a bit stronger signal. Migrate. Now then, what were you saying?
Roll me 5 dice.
Okay.
Okay. Your beast creeps out of its shell and it attempts to claim a part of yourself, but you stand strong in the face of it. You hold on to your humanity, even in the face of such evidence that you are clearly not. That even if you can, even if this is your life now, even if such violence and carnage is your existence, so what? You stand in defiance of your beast, but it does not stop itself trying to tempt you to withdraw into your inner nature, perhaps your true nature, as you gain the bestial condition. It will fade either at the end of tonight or if you resolve it via murder or frenzy. Oh. Did you hear me? Did you hear me? Evan, you're muted. Evan. 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 Problematic.
Sorry about that. My internet was just doing a fucking loop-de-loop. I think it's better now.
Okay.
I managed to retain my humanity. I think that was the last thing you said.
Yes, you stand defiant in the face of your beast, even if such wanton carnage is your life now. So what? That does not make you a monster. It may make the world around you monstrous. It does not necessarily make you a monster. You do, however, gain the bestial condition, as your beast tries to force you to withdraw to a crueler nature. It will fade. You could resolve it right now. What you need to do is hurt one of these fuckers. One of these fuckers who just watched as you almost died. One of your sect mates watched as you almost died.
No, he will, however, bow his head in prayer for a few moments because ending a life is a serious business to Joshua. He does it, but he doesn't like doing it. So, I'm curious. Did I pass the test?
The sheriff finds your work. Orlan looks to the putrefied corpse. Satisfactory. They are concerned that you second-guessed yourself partway through. But they are satisfied that you came around to logical conclusion in the end.
My forgiveness, honored sir, but if the sheriff had told me he wanted me to kill this poor degenerate fuckwit, I would have killed the poor degenerate fuckwit.
We have all seen.
I'm not a person who like.
We have all seen you kill. That was not in question. What was in question was your capacity to identify those that would require death.
In truth, I knew that he had sinned and greatly transgressed from the moment I met him. However, the simple fact of the matter was that I will always attempt to offer those who seek it redemption and salvation, for that is the nature, or rather, I will seek to lead those back onto the path that they may walk, the path that God has chosen for them, as my sect are wont to do. He did not, could not, would not. He was a monster. I slew a monster. There's a very casual shrug.
Yes.
But I am pleased that my work is at least satisfactory to the sheriff. Now, if you'll forgive me, there's a giant hole in my chest. What the fuck is his actual proposition?
Straight to the point.
Well, I am currently bleeding all over a lovely forest in the Greater London area, so yes.
Consider it nourishment for the trees. He pulls out. He pulls out. Scrolled up piece of paper has the seal of a wax seal of the Invictus placed upon it. It is peeled off. You immediately catch the scent of Vitae. As he
By the way, Bishop, as this conversation is going on, Joshua is gradually spending blood so that he is less fucked.
Yes. The hole in your chest begins to regenerate and heal. How much blood do you spend? I believe you had 9 blood.
I had 9 blood. I only spent I only spent 3 blood over the course of the fisticuffs, so I had 6 blood left.
Okay, you can only go down to 5 without becoming hungry.
Yeah, he'll heal 2 of the lethal, so he'll go down to 5. Basically, he'll spend 6, 5. Oh no, he'll go down to 4. So yeah, he's a little bit peckish, but not anywhere in the danger zone. Danger zone.
Well, it does put you at risk of frenzy, but what he reveals to you is an oath of the True Knight, an odd choice for Invictus to give to another, as it is predicated upon their status within the establishment, but this appears to be a variation of that. It is a contract between you as the vassal and the sheriff as the liege. The sheriff's name is not noted in the document. It is only noted as the sheriff. You presume this would probably be the position more than the person. It basically, to give you an overview, it is an offer to make you a hound under himself as the sheriff of West London. You would become their
Is a
archon.
hound? I was going to say,
not
is a hound an archon?
Yeah, an
Yeah.
archon. Of hounds is a sort of more generalized term. Archon is the Invictus term. One could consider a Hound of the Sanctified to be the Crusaders.
And he wants me to oversee West London.
No, he is the Sheriff of West London.
Is there a
He
sheriff
has
of East London?
contract. Yes, this suggests that there's a Sheriff of East London. Or that there is to be one. It basically stipulates that when the sheriff gives you orders, you follow them. That if there is a dispute between your personal interests or your sect interests, that you must put the interests of the office of the sheriff above all else, and that you are to maintain law and order in all things. And that this contract shall empower you to resist any sway, any manipulation that would compel you to do otherwise. And in that undertaking this oath, you become an archon of all the responsibilities that entails.
Joshua reads.
Speaking, you would gain the Oath of the True Knight, which is a 4-point merit. You would not have to buy it. You would also gain a dot of status. I've got a dot of city status, as you would become an Archon of the Domain.
All right. So
I'm once again just a humble god botherer, so you'll forgive me asking. There's an interesting loophole or an interesting caveat in this nice piece of paper. I assume that by signing this piece of paper, I become loyal to the sheriff as an office, not the sheriff as an individual.
Yes, the Sheriff of West London. Of course, we do not expect the Sheriff to be stepping down anytime soon. Your duties are to
No.
deal with this.
Sorry, it is still...
That is known and explicitly stated, so that in the event that the sheriff were to step down, or they were to meet an unfortunate end, but you were to persist, the oath would carry on to the next sheriff. And they would be the liege of this oath, of this agreement between various parties.
All right, so interesting. This is essentially, I've signed lots of contracts in my life, mostly for gigs and other such malarkey. So this is essentially my terms of service, yeah?
Very much so. In terms of service, basically do what the sheriff says. Uphold the traditions, uphold princely edicts. It is very well written, I would like to say. It is. If you were to rate it, it would be. It would be a. Okay, let me check.
I'm curious.
Yeah, this would be a. This would be an academics 5 with a specialty in law level oath in terms of its legal structure. Like there aren't really any loopholes here.
You understand that I want a copy of this. Doesn't have to be in blood, but I want a copy of this.
A more mundane copy can be manufactured and delivered to you at your earliest convenience.
And this also allows me to call on the resources as it would be provided for me to fulfill my duties in my office. I don't want to be out of pocket for this.
Should the sheriff deem it so, then yes. Although the sheriff, as Archon Thane can attest to, has generally outfitted his subordinates very, very well. As I'm sure you have witnessed, he gestures to the blade you are leading.
Also, I'm keeping this. Yeah, he does say that. I want this written in the contract. I get to keep the sword.
That is Joshua's only stipulation.
That blade is of particular importance to the sheriff. I'm afraid it will need to be returned to his office.
Very well, then. All right. Fuck it. Why not?
Joshua does something really funny. He takes out a ballpoint pen because he carries a ballpoint pen. Fuck it, why not? He's like, all right, where do I sign?
Please, you need not use a pen. Your hands are currently caked in the ink we'd rather use.
Oh no, you misunderstand me. He stabs the pen into his chest, fills the little inkwell. Where do I sign?
Ah, a man of taste. Just on the dotted line.
Joshua Bain. He has a very kind of the signature that people who give a shitload of autographs have.
Yes.
He has one of those kind of signatures, like.
exquisite penmanship.
I
He
do
like
my best.
yeah, he kind of speaks in this sort of casual, almost laissez-faire way. But it isn't it doesn't, not much emotion follows from it. It's like there's
By the
this
way,
weird balance, but there's this weird sort of awkwardness from the seriousness and the tone with which he speaks and the sort of words he chooses to use for you.
So I'm curious. Actually, he said this just before he signs it. The moment I sign this, it takes effect, yes?
Yes.
Essentially, I sign it in your presence. You, as the notary, guarantee that it has been signed by me, etc., etc., yeah?
As notary, I am the judge, jury, and executioner of all oaths that are signed within and without my presence.
Wonderful. Joshua does the signature. He then says, right, it is my duty as Archon of the etc., 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 to inform the Prince's Sheriff that I have received multiple reports and complaints about certain individuals squatting in the estates around Kingston. They must immediately be purged. as the ink is just dry, as the blood is drying on the contract.
Perhaps something to discuss in. He actually stops speaking. Perhaps something to discuss with the rest of your brethren and comrades in arms. I can only suppose you'll be meeting them shortly.
Does this mean I actually get face-to-face time with the sheriff? I'm led to understand that's an honor.
In a sense.
Fantastic. Now, I wouldn't presume to ask you because you have... Is he wearing very nice shoes?
He is wearing a beautiful black loafers.
I wouldn't presume to ask you because I would be afraid to bleed on your shoes. So I will look to my clanmate, sister, clanmate, covenant member to please help me extricate myself as I don't seem to be able to stand up.
Oh, come on, I've suffered worse. As she kind of lightly just pushes you on the shoulder, and it's just you. If you had the energy, you would scream.
No. Joshua does that wonderful thing where it's like push. He falls over like on his side, like just entirely like as if a statue had fallen over. He's like, no, I'm not faking this. Seriously, help.
She briefly considers, in a very mocking way, whether she should leave you there before very quickly coming to the conclusion that she should help you. Yes. One moment. She will just pick you up. It is extremely painful, but you are back on your feet, and she begins to help you towards the vehicle. That is through the doorway that they've left open, which is just space. It's like it's the space you seem to have been sitting roaming within appears to be a perfect mirror of the space that is through the doorway.
So I'm curious, as he's limped out, what the fuck happened to that kid? What was wrong with them?
I could not say. I am not an expert on matters of the spirit. In fact, if I may say so, that falls to your particular covenant. But what I do hear of the lost souls of those consumed by Davos, tormenting them long after their passing. Perhaps the ghosts of their victims. But it is not for me to say. and frankly, it is not within my purview. All that matters is that Vera Dabblerist, a murderer, a tradition breacher, and that deserved death, and you brought it to them.
Needless to say, my existence is currently pain. I would like to go home and lie in the fetal position, please.
Would you like me to watch?
I mean, you can join me if you really want. No, don't drop me. Don't. Ow!
Oh, the sheriff will have fun with you. She places you into the vehicle. You can... You may feed from my herd this one time.
Thank you. Just thank you. Yes. All right. Awesome. Question: do I get a hat or a badge or anything cool?
No.
Can I have a hat made?
You can make one yourself.
Yay. You know how we... I just have to say, you know how we said this wasn't going to be a long scene, Bishop?
Yes, I know. I already know. I've been keeping track of the time. But the car begins to drive away. Orlan seems to really stop paying attention at this point. He fills the... you notice actually something when you sign the contract is the blood just dried on it instantly, and he's able to just wrap it back up and then reseal it. And he simply places it back into his jacket.
Every bump that we go over because we're on a country road, Joshua will swear vociferously.
Oh, it is pain beyond pain. It is one of those things where a human would be dead, but when a mortal is in this much pain, it's a shock and fall unconscious. Body reacts in a way so as to at least attempt to mitigate. You do not have this luxury. It is torture. But once you make your way back to Camden, it does take a while. Saturn does provide you with some of her vessels. She prepares them so that they are indistinct. She seems to be very protective of them. Like they're not dressed in a particular way. They're not.
Jesus.
They are generally made to look as if they are as if they're just a random Joe on the street. Perhaps they are, but yes, you are able to drink from them. You'll be permitted to drink insofar as is needed to heal your wounds.
That's fine. He will heal himself. Oh, there is no longer a gaping hole in my chest. Mm-hmm.
So you will need to roll for frenzy.
Yay!
That's -2 dice. Do you have the
Yay!
toxic condition?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay, then you don't suffer any more penalties.
I do, however. Does the bestial condition do anything now?
1 second. Oh, yes. Oh dear.
Oh, to shreds, you say?
Yeah, that may be a -4 dice penalty.
You know, I'm actually lucky because of my because it's my whatchamacallit, because of my visionary mask. I just risked my life for something I believe in, aka the guilty must be punished, as a religious belief. So it does actually refill my willpower. Hey, because of how that's how willpower in this game works.
Yeah. So what willpower does, because it works a bit differently for frenzy. It does something specific for frenzy. What it does is allows you to resist frenzy for a turn, or for a turn per willpower spent, and then once those turns are up, you roll to resist. You gain an additional dice for each willpower you spend. It's not spend one, gain three. It's for every willpower you spend, you gain a single dice.
Right, because at the moment, I only have a willpower of 5, or I only have an ability to resist of 5, right?
If you have 5 willpower, then you can spend up to 5 willpower and gain up to 5.
No. What's the roll to resist frenzy? Sorry.
Oh, it's resolve plus composure.
Oh, I have. I think I have 6 dice for that. I think that's actually one of his better pools.
Yes, you're at a -4 penalty due to your bestial nature, and due to your bestial state, and your hunger. Like the beast is really, it's positively bleeding out of your skin, out of your rib cage.
Nope.
Oh dear.
Can I spend a willpower then, or how does that work? Do you spend a willpower now, or should I have spent it beforehand?
Right, you would have need to have spent it in advance.
Crap.
So, you very quickly begin to take your fill on one of the mortals. Saturn will rip you off. Rip you off her vessel, and now she's gonna roll because you just did something very bad that makes her very angry. Fortunately, she's quite good at this. Okay. She bares her fangs at you, tears you off as you almost drain the vessel dry. And immediately kicks you out of the temple in Camden, violently, as in she throws you out. Her well-being is not your concern. You are able to heal all the damage, but you take another 2 bashing because she tosses you out of extreme violence and prejudice.
Question: in frenzy, would I not try and fight her?
She has a lot of dice, and
I am happy to. I'm happy to hand wave because I don't want to fight her.
Yeah. No. It's better if we do hand waves. This is more merciful. She literally throws you out of the building, through the glass. You're thrown onto the back gardens of the abbey, and your beast is left stunned and confused until you eventually come out of it. You're not entirely sure what happened. But, if you go back into the temple, by the time you come out of frenzy, Saturn is no longer there, and neither is her vessel. But there is the heavy scent of spilt blood.
I make a note to send a fruit basket tomorrow.
I'm going to... Okay. Yes, you are left outside one of the the shattered outside the abbey in the back gardens, where there are many gravestones. Before shattered stained glass. A rather bitter ending to a triumphant evening, but that seems to be Joshua's. Seems to be the pattern in his own life. A victory, but always with a price, always with a cut at the end, a twist.
That does seem to be Joshua's lot in life. He accepts it and kind of pats himself down as he's just like,
If nothing else, the wounds you have suffered are far less egregious, and, well, mortals would probably immediately call an ambulance, in the sense that you have glass cuts over your arms, and your palms, and your body. At least you wouldn't be considered dead. But I think that is a good place for us to end the scene.
"Yeah."
An Archon of West
Yay.
London. A great honor, but also a great burden. And we'll see what Joshua decides to do with it.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z. Thank you, Player for Playing. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next time. Bye bye.